Hey, what's up? Dr. Taylor, Spire Chiropractic. I want to do a new topic, if you will. This is the series, I didn't know chiropractic could do that. So, let's talk about your ears. Your ears, your head, your face. Hey, this is Texas. Let's talk about allergies, okay? How does chiropractic help with allergies? I mean, a bunch of different ways. But I want to get on one in particular. You know your ears have bones? This is a Pictionary question, if you will. Smallest bones in your body are in the ears, okay? So, right there, boop, quite clearly an ear. Now let's go on the inside. We've got our canal, like so, and we've got our eardrum there. So if we kind of blow this up, there's our eardrum. Here's the outside world. Look at vibration, sound, noise. Actually, sound goes into the ear, so let's do that. Hits the eardrum, vibrates it. There's a bone here connected to the eardrum, vibrates that, vibrates that, vibrates that. So this whole thing is one, a hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup, I believe that they're called when I was a kid. Hamate, incus, and stapes now. And what happens, hits these nerves, and these nerves go up into your brain, and that's where you process sound, okay? Cool, what's that have to do with chiropractic? So if we go back into this, there's also a whole bunch of other stuff happening in here. If we get basically into the skull, here's this whole big cavity here on the inside. There's your ear. We'll call this the entry point, if you will. That is the ear canal, and right there is your eardrum. Now, if we're looking here like this, we're looking at the front of the head. There's your nose. This is not to scale. But there is a tube that goes from your inner ear down into the back of your throat, okay? Like that. Back in the day, it used to be called the eustachian tube. They've named it something more anatomical now. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But we've got allergies, okay? We've got increased mucus production. We've got that feeling that like it just sounds like, everything sounds like this, right? Everything is clogged up and kind of muffled. Why is that? One of the reasons is because this tube from your inner ear into the back of your throat gets clogged up, okay? So you get all the gunk and stuff going on in here caused by just our immune reaction to the allergies, which clogs up this space here. Same thing, it gets messed up if you've ever, gone underwater and, you got water stuck in there or something like that, and everything just kind of sounds muffled. So, what do? We can literally cause a reflexive action to open this tube. A couple of different ways. One, by adjusting the ear. And it looks odd if you see it. It's a tug. It's kind of uncomfortable, not going to lie. But what it is, it's not an adjustment in the traditional sense, a hand on bone, changing the juxtaposition of a vertebra from the vertebra above to the vertebra below to increase nervous system production and function. No, not quite like that. But, so if we got our eardrum here, we've got that one bone connected to it, the other one and the other one. Literally, quick tug on the ear, pulls on the skin, pulls on the eardrum in a sense, which for all intents and purposes, it's like if you've ever seen anyone crack their knuckle, like that. You're just pulling on it and you're gapping the joints in here. And what that's going to do, you will hear just an ever so slight pop as we cavitate those joints there. And what it's going to do, it's going to release a whole lot of pressure in here. It's going to cause drainage going on down there, and we can actually facilitate that drainage even more by working on the sinuses up here underneath your cheeks, working on the sinuses. Okay, still there. There's a sinus, there's a sinus. There's your baby blues, right? Work on the sinuses up here to help alleviate the pressure. This drawing is terrible. To help alleviate the pressure in the sinus cavities, in the ears, causing all that congestion that you're feeling. Now, it might not entirely go away, but you can absolutely change this environment. Now, this is directly related to two things. One, what you got going on in your neck, and two, to the reason that kids have a higher tendency and frequency of getting ear infections than adults do. So now we're going to look at the head from the side. Again, there's the ear, right? We've got our neck, and we've got all these muscles going along the neck, up into the head here, up like that, So that's going to put tension on all of the tissues in there if these things get all spazzed up and tight. And it's going to pull on this stuff in there, causing this congestion just like anything else would, right? Just like a tight back can cause congestion, let's call it across your shoulder blades. Tight neck can cause congestion up into the muscles, the fascia, and the tissues of the head, which is going to cause that stuff there to be less likely to be able to leave the face. Same thing. If we get into kids though, so this is an adult head, right? And you saw when we drew the picture over here, that tube had this kind of forward and down angle. It's really easy for stuff to flow downhill. But if we take a baby head, we're going to make it the same size as the adult head for recording purposes. But just picture that we're closer to it. We got that same thing. We got that baby ear. There you go. That's how you know it's a baby. But that tube, that eustachian tube there, doesn't have that angle. They've got a smaller, more compact head, and that tube is much more horizontal. Stuff doesn't drain well on a horizontal plane like it does on an incline like this. So all that gunk and stuff that will build up can't leave, especially if that tube right there is constricted. Same kind of thing here. They've got the same bones and muscles in the head and neck that we do, right? So if we team that up with the fact that, hey, we're trying to actually learn to hold our head up, so these muscles are a whole lot tighter than usual. Same thing, it's going to pull on all the tissues and all the surfaces in there, which is going to constrict that even more. So what do? We adjust the ear. We encounter that reflex there in that tube, so that smooth muscle opens up, allows that stuff to drain better. We assess the bones in the neck to help take the tension off those muscles there, to help relieve the tension in the lower head, the neck, and the face. Basically opening all that space up. I don't know, my chiropractor could adjust my ears. Absolutely. But again, it's not just the ears. Whether it's sinus and allergy stuff, whether it's neck pain, headaches, low back, hip, all this kind of stuff, you need to remember, whenever you come in here and you want an issue addressed, you have a chief complaint, it's never one thing. We've got to check the whole thing. It's not just the symptom, it's the stuff underlying the symptom, the stuff that caused the symptom. But also, talking about adjusting ears. Chiropractic is so much more than neck pain, back pain, and headaches. Granted, neck pain and headaches can certainly play into this kind of stuff. So, if you're living in Texas and it's springtime and you're watching this, but it sounds like this, give us a buzz. Walk right through that door, give us a call. We're ready to help you when you're ready to be your best, even if it means adjusting your ears.